Kids come in the classroom. They take out their folder out of the backpack, put it in the basket, put their backpack, jacket, whatever, in their locker. I used to have visuals here to remind some of them about the steps: folder, backpack, locker, and also like assigning Velcro, present, not present to present. That was towards the middle of the year, not at the beginning. Also, once they do that, it's like around 8:30ish, and then they get to just pick a center, play around for like until 9 o'clock. Then at 9 o'clock is calendar time, and we do the calendar. Some of the kids sit on the cubbies. They're usually here. The older kids sit on, I teach them to sit on the carpet. And I start off with, who is here today? Who is here? I pull out the stick with their name and their picture. And then it's Ellie is here. Ellie is here. She's wearing pink today. Good morning. Good morning. All right, Ellie, spell your name. And then she'll spell it. And then I'll ask her, how do you feel today? And I have a visual. It should be in that right there behind her. And it's like, how do you feel today? It's like, I feel happy. And then she can sit down. Then the next kid and the next kid. After that is what day is today. We go over the day, the month, the year, the weather, the temperature. And I show them some months of the year videos, days of the week, and the seasons and the weather. After that, they can choose a center. I'm not really clear. Like I don't recall from now, but really quick. We do go over like how do we sit? I have these visuals here. I'll be sending to you. I give them choices. For the kids that are sitting on the rug. Also, we go over if we're upset. We study them one at a time. And then I have them up and I remind them if they're feeling sad, angry, or scared, they use one of these breathing techniques. Also, I have more. Also, they're usually up here. It's the I promise, walking feet. I promise to listen. I promise to use kind words and use gentle hands. Also, if there's, depending on the group and how they're going to act, I go over a sentence and how many. You'll see it in the curriculum. Oh, they're changing it, maybe not, but it's like, okay, how many words in the sentence? The first letter starts with a capital letter, and the sentence ends with a period. So after that, I show them the visual of the centers. And I'm like, okay, let's see who's making green choices, sitting crisscross applesauce or whatever, making green choices. I let them pick a center. They pick a center. They take their picture and put the picture on the center they choose. And I let them do that. After that center, I want to say I put a timer, a visual timer, so they can see the time's running out. And then it's time, I let them know that it's time for language arts. And then language arts is usually like a story, ABC, letter of the week, Are we working on rhymes, words that rhyme, or alliteration? Depending, it's like we break it down. Also, after that, it's usually time for lunch. So I would divide the kids that are ready and the ones that are not ready to go out in the cafeteria. So the ones that are ready, they go out with one of my teacher assistants to sit in the cafeteria, and I stayed with the rest, where they would eat lunch here. And one of my teacher assistants would go to lunch at 10:45, and then she would come back 45 minutes later, a lunch and a break together. And then when they're done eating, they get to throw their trash out, and they get their jobs, their language arts jobs. And of course, if I have a sheet, I would go over the sheet before that during ELA, and I would show them with the camera. This is a camera we would use, and I show them the correct way to go over the worksheet, whatever. So job 1, job 2, job 3. And usually I have job 1, job 2, job 3 in black and white here. But my teacher assistant already took that piece out, one of them. So they would bring their cubbies here. And then if they do job 1 is all done. So they would put it on top of the copy that's taped to the table. Like, okay, done with job 1. I'm done with job 2. And then when they finish job 3, I'm done with job 3. All right, put this back. So then they would put it back. They would put their done activities in here, and then they would put this back in here. And then they get to pick a center again. And there was more independent work. There was times, depending on the group again, and maybe towards the middle of the year, you can start doing group activities where one TA is with a certain amount of kids here doing an activity. Another TA would be here doing a different activity, and I would be here doing a different activity. So 3 different groups. And then the rest would be doing independent work. But that's more towards the end, towards the middle of the year. And it depends on the group of kids that you have. We had 2 sets of twins, so it didn't work out that great. So we continued with independent work. So after that, it was time for the pre-K 4 to go to Music in Motion. And the 3-year-olds they leave like around 11, 16, around there. And one of my teacher assistants would take the 3-year-olds home, to their parents or bus, and then on Throwbridge side. And some of the pre-K 4 would go out to Music in Motion, and others would stay here if they weren't ready for Music in Motion yet. What else? After Music in Motion, and that's supposed to be your conference time. After Music in Motion, they come back, and then it's rest time. The kids have a choice. We usually I bought some yoga mats so they can lay down on them. And we told the parents to bring a small blanket or a towel. And that worked out fine. Except for the yoga mat, one of the kids started putting the pieces of tearing the yoga mat and putting it inside her nose. So yeah, be careful with that. So that would be rest time. They get to use a tablet with headphones. books, a silent activity, or just rest and watch a video up here. Something calm that will keep them in their spot. And they can lay down or they can sit down, either one. And we turn off the lights. We have Christmas lights here. We had a lamp over there. And then after that, at 12:29, one of my teacher assistants would stay here, and I would go pick up the girls. The pre-K 3 p.m. And then I would bring them here. While the kids were resting, the two pre-K 3-year-olds that I had in the afternoon would come in, do the same routine with their folder, their backpack, and then I would have them eat lunch here. And they would eat their lunch, go potty, and then, of course, take their lunch bags to the locker when they're done, or just throw their trash. And then they would do their language arts 1, 2, and 3. And then they put it back. And then by the time they were done, if they were done early, I would have them do Play-Doh or something else. And then some silent activity right here. The light turns on here, so I would have this light on while the other lights were off. And then I would have them, by the time it was time for the other kiddos to get up at 1:05, 1:05, around there. And they get up, they roll up. We show them to roll up their mat. We show them to put their blankets. Some blankets fit in their locker, others didn't. So they were like kind of small sleeping bags, which were too big, but oh well. We would have them put them over there. And we used to have a gap right here where they would roll their mats, their yoga mats, and put them right here. We would show them how to put them right here. It was a bigger gap. Then after after rest time, it was time for recess. So my other teacher assistant would go to lunch during the kids' rest time. And then I would have one teacher at lunch and one teacher assistant here. And I would stay here as well, because it was just too much for Miss C to handle. So I just stood here. I stayed here. What else? Then it was too many kids too. Like at 1:05, it was recess time. So the kids would go to recess with both of my teacher assistants, and they would come back like at 1:35. Then after recess, it was either speech or what was the other one? Or snack. So then they would sit down here and have their snack. And we have a visual, which was here. I think we put it away for you. I'm not sure. But the visual was here next to the snack. And it had, I want, and there was pictures of the options of snacks. And I would give them like 3 options. And the child would, we would show it to the child, and we would go, I want, and then they would pick goldfish. It's like, I want goldfish, please. Depending on what level the kids are at, it's like they would just point at it, or they would say, I want goldfish, or I want goldfish, please. And then that's what they would get. When they're done, they put it away. After snack, they choose a center again. After a center, it was a math time. It was math. And then they would sit again, and we would go over math, which was a book, count from 1 to 5, 1 to 10, 1 to 20 or 30. And then, what else? If we're talking about shapes, pattern, depending on what else we were talking about. Positional words. What else? Subitizing. That was more towards the end. What else? After math, they would I would call them so they can do job 1, job 2, job 3 for math. And when they were done, they would put it back, choose a center again. And then if we had time, we did science. And it just depending on your group again. At around 2:45, around there, we would do social emotional and have the kids sit, turn off the lights so they could know that it's time to come down, it's time to, depending. I usually do a book first, and then after the book, then if we're doing an activity related to the social emotional book, and then we turn off the lights and we show like feelings videos or something like that. And then one of my teacher assistants would take a break. One teacher assistant would take a break at 2:30 to 2:45. Then the other teacher assistant would take 2:45 to 3 o'clock break. And then during that time, like 2:45 or 3, I would sit back here and do their folders, their communication log that goes home with the parents, and I would let them know just a quick how was their day, what did they eat for lunch. A lot of the parents want to know what they ate for lunch, if they ate lunch, and if they used the potty or not. What else? And then once the folders were done, I would call the students. It's like, okay, come and get your folder. They would get their folder, then they would go put it in their backpack, get their backpack out of the locker, put their folder in the backpack, put their backpack on, and come and sit down and wait for everyone. And that was it. Once everybody was done, some of my students would go with Mrs. Woodard to Throwbridge side to drop off the kids to the parents. And then me and Miss C would go to the front lobby to drop off the kids that take the bus. And that's it. That's it for now. All right. Bye.